Hi, and welcome to GoFormative Help number 9. This is a tutorial or a walkthrough if you are stuck on number 9 of the 50 GoFormatives. If you are way past number 9 or don't need any help on fractions at all, then go ahead and stop this video and get to one that you need help with. Let's start. On my screen right now, you can see I've got the left side here. I'm going to take some notes. On the right side, I've got the actual GoFormative pulled up. And for you at home, you can watch this video and then go back into number 9 and do that as well. Or side by side, like have it up on your Chromebook and then watch the video on your phone, however you want, if you have two devices. Let's start with basics. So this first part here says numerator and denominator. So the numerator is the top and the denominator is the bottom. That's kind of your basics on fractions. Knowing that will help you when you're dealing with fractions. So here's the basics. 2 out of the 6 parts are shaded, therefore 2/6 is my fraction. And a lot of the stuff you don't need help on at first, right? You're going to see this and you're going to go, okay, I know how to do those really easily. You have 1/4, 2/5. This is 4/8, but it could also be what other fraction? 1/2. And then that one I'll let you figure out. But that's how we do those. This one we got to put them in order. This is a little harder to do. Because we have all different types of fractions. So you have to kind of look at these and say, okay, this is why if you know the decimals of these fractions, it will help you really fast. So for example, we studied the decimals of those fractions, and we know 3/6 is 1/2 or 0.5. We know that this is 3/5 is 0.6, and 3/8 we learned was 0.375. Well, just saying those out loud, we can put them in order: 0.375, 0.5, 0.6. And that's kind of how we can know their order. The other way to do that, if you do not have the decimals memorized, is just to grab a calculator and do 3 divided by 6, do 3 divided by 5, do 3 divided by 8. Then you'll figure out all the decimals, and then you'll know which one is, order least to greatest. Another way kids do it is they see that all the tops are the same, so therefore the bigger bottom number is going to be the smallest one, and it's going to work just like that all the way through. Same thing with problem number 3. I'll let you play around with that. And 4 and 5, we're learning how to order fractions. It is an important skill, so hopefully you do know how to order those. And if you need more help on that, you can email me anytime. Let's go down here to number 7. How do you do 1/5 times 20? It's important to remember that the tops will multiply. The number one thing that is forgotten is that secretly there's a 1 underneath this. And if you forget that, then you'll kind of multiply them wrong. But this is really saying 1 times 20 is 20, and 5 times 1 is 5, and 20 over 5, what's 20 divided by 5, is 4. So that's what this is saying, and that's why there's 2 answers selected. You'll notice that 4 is selected, but look what else is selected. And so that's why both of those answers will work when you're doing this. And same thing here, you're going to multiply the tops. So you can get a little faster if you understand that you're multiplying the tops. These are multiplying. And then you are dividing it by the 10. So 3 times 30 is 90. 90 over 10 is 9. That's why there are 2 selected. 3 selected actually. We can see that these 2 are the ones we see over here, but why does 45/5 work? And the answer to that is because what is 45 divided by 5? It's 9, so it still works. And another thing is why does 10 not work? Because it's not 9. Okay. Same thing here. What's half of 100? There's a couple different answers there. I'm actually working on how to get you to see that there is more than one response. The number one error when I look at everybody's answers, I looked at 90 of these, and you're all getting them wrong. And here's why. Because you're only selecting one answer. When I'm wanting you, if you look at this, it says multiple selection, which means you need to basically select all the available correct options. Otherwise, it will show up wrong. And so a lot of you have these as wrong answers. And I'll go back and I'll make this lesson available to edit after you submit it. That way you can go back in and submit it if you want to try to get these right again. So same thing here, same thing, multiply the tops. Okay, now we have a word problem. Rita typed 192 words in 6 minutes. What was her average words per minute? If I want to find the average of something, I just divide usually what I have with how many minutes I have. So basically 192 divided by 6 is going to yield me that answer. That's why the answer says 32. So you're going to want to divide. To prepare for a banquet, Ted bought 11 packages of rolls. Each package has 24 rolls in it. So you have 11 packages and each of them have 24. So we're going to multiply that. And for 13 and 14, you're either going to be multiplying or dividing. Multiplying or dividing. Multiplying or dividing. Here we're actually subtracting. Let's take a look. Jenna budgeted $300 to redecorate a room. If she spent $54 on paint, how much money remains? That is a subtraction problem thrown into when you've been dividing and multiplying this whole time. So a lot of this lesson is less about can you multiply and divide, but do you know when you're supposed to multiply and divide? And then if you see something like this, will you recognize, oh, I'm supposed to subtract here, not divide? A lot of kids will just divide again or multiply again. You need to see that, okay, I have $300 for something and I spent this much. How much money do I have left? That is a subtraction problem. I'm taking away that money. How many minutes is 1/6 of an hour? How many minutes are in an hour, first of all? 60? And then 1/6, I'm actually building my own one of these that we were doing earlier. And my advice was to multiply the tops and then divide it by that bottom. So it'd be 60 over 6, which is why the answer is 10. Three-fifths of 30 questions on the test were multiple choice. How many multiple choice questions were on the test? Again, you're building your own one of these, and I'm hoping we can learn to do these on our own. The big giveaway here is this word of. Of in math, a lot of times, most of the time, means multiply. So if it says 3/5 of 30, that's 3/5 times 30. So that's one way we can figure that out. To make this question harder would be to say how many multiple choice questions were not on the test. So how many questions were not multiple choice? 18 is going to be this answer because 3 times 30 is 90 and 90 divided by 5 is 18. But a good way to switch it up would be to say how many were not multiple choice. And in that case, I would now subtract 30, take away my multiple choice, and that would give me my harder answer if I was going to make that harder. Danya, I always try to use my students' names as much as possible. Danya, great student of mine in the past. Danya drove 288 miles and used 8 gallons of gas. Danya's car traveled for an average of how many miles per gallon of fuel? Again, we're dividing, multiplying, and then this we're going to try to set up this problem. Art teacher bought 19 sketchbooks for $2.98 per book. What can the equation be? And if you focus on that, that is the answer. But why? Why is that the answer? Well, if each book is this much money and you have this many of them, then you're going to multiply those together. And that's what this is showing. Do these other ones show that? No, that shows dividing. This does show times, but it has the numbers in the wrong spots. That wouldn't make sense. And this is dividing again, and that wouldn't make sense. And that is it for number 9. So if you have any questions, again, email me, and I'll try to get out as many of these videos as possible. Take care.